In this video, we'll be taking a look at 2 college football games happening on September 13, 2024, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 4 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 2 college football games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start: if you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. UNLV versus Kansas. Week 3 of college football sees UNLV and Kansas face off in a non-conference clash on Friday, September 13th. Due to ongoing renovations at the Jayhawks' home stadium in Lawrence, the game will be held at the Sporting Kansas City Stadium, located in Kansas City, Kansas, which typically serves as a venue for Major League Soccer. Kansas enters this matchup with a 1-1 record, having recently suffered a tough loss against Illinois. In contrast, UNLV is riding high with a 2-0 start, highlighted by an impressive road win over Houston in their season opener. Kansas still has an opportunity to right the ship, but they are coming off a disappointing performance. Turnovers plagued them in the game against Illinois, contributing significantly to their 23-17 loss. In their first game, Kansas dominated Lindenwood, winning 48-3. Quarterback Jalon Daniels, who is leading the Jayhawks offense, struggled against Illinois, completing 18 of 32 passes for 141 yards, throwing 2 touchdowns but also 3 costly interceptions. Running back Devin Neal had a strong game, rushing 14 times for 101 yards, but Kansas abandoned the run late, which hindered their efforts. To have a shot at winning this matchup, Kansas must limit turnovers and lean more heavily on the running game. Their defense will also need to force some takeaways to shift momentum. UNLV enters this game full of confidence and can make a significant statement with a win. The Rebels opened their season with a commanding 27-7 victory over Houston, followed by a blowout 72-14 win against Utah Tech. By the end of the first quarter in their game against Utah Tech, UNLV had already taken a commanding 28-7 lead. Quarterback Matthew Sluka put in a solid performance, completing 8 of 17 passes for 161 yards and 3 touchdowns. Running backs Greg Burrell and Hajj Malik Williams were instrumental as well, with Sluka rushing for 101 yards and a touchdown on 11 carries, while Williams added 88 yards on 10 carries. For UNLV to succeed in this game, their defense will need to create turnovers and find a way to slow down Kansas' rushing attack. While they may give up some points, keeping the game low scoring will improve their chances of securing a victory or at least covering the spread. Both teams have notched wins against football championship subdivision opponents, which doesn't carry much weight, but their performances against football bowl subdivision competition differ significantly. UNLV's 20-point win on the road against Houston stands out, while Kansas faltered against Illinois. UNLV boasts one of the best receivers in the nation, Ricky White III, who showcased his talent by scoring 3 touchdowns in the first quarter of their last game. The Rebels also brought in Matthew Sluka from Holy Cross, where he was the Patriot League Player of the Year, and his experience and composure should serve him well in this matchup. On the other side, Kansas' Jalon Daniels was the preseason Player of the Year in the Big 12 last season, but a back injury has since affected his performance. Through 2 games, Daniels has thrown 4 interceptions, and he will need to prove that he can still lead this Kansas offense to success after struggling against an unranked Illinois team. While I believe Kansas will manage their game better as it progresses, UNLV's offense is likely to find success in this contest. The Rebels have been on a tear offensively, and I expect that trend to continue. Although Kansas may come away with the win, the point spread seems far too large. UNLV should be able to keep the game competitive, so the UNLV Rebels to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. The Kansas Jayhawks are one of the more intriguing teams in the Big 12 this season, but adjusting to life without former offensive coordinator Andy Kotnicki has been challenging for quarterback Jalon Daniels and the offense. Despite the talent on the roster, Kansas should have scored more points in their recent loss to Illinois. However, facing a UNLV defense that has yet to encounter a strong offensive opponent could provide an opportunity for Kansas to break out and put up significant points, making the over a tempting pick for this game. UNLV, meanwhile, is thriving in offensive coordinator Brennan Marion's second year, with football championships subdivision transfers Matt Sluka and Haj Malik Williams leading a potent rushing attack. Head coach Barry Odom's team has scored 99 points in their first 2 games, and that offensive momentum doesn't seem to be slowing down. Looking back at last season's Guaranteed Rate Bowl, the posted total was 8 points higher than the current over-under for this game, and the 2 teams easily surpassed it, combining for a 49-36 Kansas win. While Kansas' -3 turnover margin was a major factor in their loss to Illinois, I'm not ready to discount Daniels and the Jayhawks' offensive talent. On the other hand, UNLV's rushing attack should be able to exploit a Kansas defensive front that has yet to face a quality offense. Kansas under has hit in both games this season, largely due to their struggles in finding offensive rhythm early in drives. The big play has eluded them so far, but that could change against a UNLV team that is vulnerable to allowing explosive plays. Meanwhile, UNLV has proven they can score in bunches, as evidenced by their 70-point outburst against Utah Tech. While I'm not expecting another 85-point shootout like we saw last week, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Arizona versus Kansas State. Get ready for a fierce showdown this Friday night as the number 20 Arizona Wildcats head to Manhattan, Kansas, to face their first Big 12 opponent, the number 14 Kansas State Wildcats. Both teams are entering the game with 2-0 records, and this matchup marks the first time these 2 teams have played each other since 1978. Adding to the excitement, this is one of the marquee Friday night games, with the other notable contest happening across the state, where Kansas will take on the UNLV Rebels. This Friday night clash promises to be a thriller, with all signs pointing to a game that could be decided in the final moments. Both Arizona and Kansas State boast playmakers capable of turning the tide, and their offenses are expected to deliver plenty of action. Despite their winning records, both teams have struggled against the spread, coming in 0-2. Arizona seems to hold an edge offensively with a superior quarterback, stronger overall offense, and a standout player in wide receiver Teteroa McMillan. The new Big 12 members will likely exploit Kansas State's shaky secondary, which allowed a staggering 342 passing yards to Tulane last week. Currently ranked 85th in Football Bone Subdivision for passing yards allowed per game, Kansas State's defense has had trouble containing explosive plays, giving up 342 yards on just 19 completions. Meanwhile, Arizona's offense, already ranked 18th in passing expected points added, seems well positioned to outscore Kansas State. Arizona entered the 2024 season with more continuity in key positions compared to Kansas State, which lost quarterback Will Howard and several key receivers to the transfer portal. Arizona thrived as road underdogs in 2023, going 3-0 against the spread, and they appear ready for a game that could shift the trajectory of their season, potentially putting them in the conversation for playoff contention. One of Kansas State's biggest concerns is how they will handle Arizona's 6'5" Heisman candidate, Teteroa McMillan. While Kansas State has a few options in the secondary, including the 6'3" VJ Payne, who has tallied 11 tackles and an interception this season, McMillan still poses a serious matchup problem, and his performance will be a key storyline. Kansas State's strength lies in their rushing game, which should serve them well against an Arizona defense that allowed over 200 rushing yards to New Mexico in their season opener. However, Kansas State's struggles on third downs have led to stalled drives, an area where they'll need to improve. Although Kansas State enters the game as home favorites and appears to be the better team on paper, the line feels a bit too generous. Arizona's offensive capabilities could easily pose a threat to Kansas State. Arizona has covered the spread in 5 straight games when they were underdogs of 7 or more points and are 6-1 shillings in their last 7 matchups in similar situations. Furthermore, Kansas State's defense was exposed last week against Tulane, particularly in the passing game, and they failed to cover the spread in their last 4 games when favored by 7 points or more. Both teams are facing a quick turnaround, but Kansas State is coming off a more grueling contest. Arizona has the proven playmakers and a reliable quarterback to keep this game competitive, making the Arizona Wildcats to cover the spread as underdogs our full game side pick. Offense will be the name of the game on both sides of the field, and this showdown should offer plenty of fireworks for the national audience. Kansas State will look to exploit Arizona's weaknesses in the running game, while Arizona will respond with a strong passing attack. Both teams have already played one Football Bowl subdivision opponent this season, and in each case, the final combined score easily cleared the set total for this game. It's highly likely that at least one of these teams will put up more than 30 points, with the final score difference expected to be under a touchdown. Therefore, over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.